What do you think that the strong version of the scaling hypothesis gets right, and what does it get wrong? It's just the idea that you just throw enough compute at a wide enough distribution of data and you get intelligence.
Yeah, look, my view is this is a kind of an empirical question right now.
Yeah.
So I think it was pretty surprising to almost everyone, including the people who first worked on the scaling hypotheses, that how far it's gone. In a way, I mean, I sort of look at the large models today, and I think they're almost unreasonably effective for what they are. I think it's pretty surprising some of the properties that emerge. Things like, it's clearly, in my opinion, got some form of concepts and abstractions and some things like that. And I think if we were talking 5+ years ago, I would have said to you, maybe we need an additional algorithmic breakthrough in order to do that. Like, maybe more like the brain works. And I think that's still true if we want explicit, abstract concepts, neat concepts. But it seems that these systems can implicitly learn that. Another really interesting, I think, unexpected thing was that these systems have some sort of grounding. Even though they don't experience the world multimodally, or at least until more recently when we have the multimodal models. And that's surprising that the amount of information that can be and models that can be built up just from language. And I think that I have some hypotheses about why that is. I think we get some grounding through the RLHF feedback systems, because obviously the human raters are by definition grounded people. We're grounded, right, in reality. So our feedback's also grounded. So perhaps there's some grounding coming in through there. And also maybe language contains more grounding. If you're able to ingest all of it, than we perhaps thought, or linguists perhaps thought before. So it's actually some very interesting philosophical questions that I think people haven't even really scratched the surface of yet. That looking at the advances that have been made, it's quite interesting to think about where it's going to go next. But in terms of your question of like the large models, I think we've got to push scaling as hard as we can, and that's what we're doing here. And it's an empirical question whether that will hit an asymptote or a brick wall. And there are different people argue about that. But actually, I think we should just test it. I think no one knows. But in the meantime, we should also double down on innovation and invention. And this is something that the Google Research and DeepMind and Google Brain have we've pioneered many things over the last decade. That's something that's our bread and butter. And you can think of half our effort as to do with scaling, and half our effort is to do with inventing the next architectures, the next algorithms that will be needed, knowing that you've got this scaled larger and larger model coming along the lines. So my betting right now, but it's a loose betting, is that you would need both. But I think you've got to push both of them as hard as possible, and we're in a lucky position that we can do that.
Yeah.